What's up, guys? Everyone's doing good. Hey, Kimber. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Kimbles. What's up, Taco? Vlad. First, as usual. Stuck. What's up? Shay. Hello. Hope Australia's doing good. I don't know what time it is there, but hope you're doing good there. How's everyone's weekend so far? That's pretty good. The sky, the air is a lot cleaner, so I'm thinking they're starting to get the fires under control. It doesn't smell nearly as smoky outside today, so that's good. Oh, that sucks, Thomas, right here. Hey, there is no new leader. No. I just have not downloaded the app yet. I just downloaded it. I gotta remember my password though, so new phone. I just got busy. Sorry about that, but I'll get back. Yeah. So today we're gonna be talking about great discoveries of the 20th century. There are so many to choose from. 20th century had a lot of stuff. It was just a busy year, scientifically, medically, just all kinds of stuff was discovered, all kinds of inventions. It was a great year. It makes you think what's going to happen in the 21st century. We're just like we're in the second decade of the 20th century, and we've already had a bunch of stuff happen. Just imagine what's going to happen 50 years from now. No, not even. Anyway, so yeah, so if you come on up, make sure you have something to talk about. That's the subject for today. So I'll go ahead and open it up. Hopefully, it should be a good fun talk. Hope you guys come up with some good stuff. I found a good one. There's so much to choose from. All kinds of crap happening. Been looking forward to this one all week. Hey, what's up, Stuff?
Hey, all hail Taco, our new king and leader and emperor.
So, you ready? Did you get a good thing picked out?
Yeah, I got a couple of things. I mean, there's, like, as I was doing some research, I found, there's a lot of stuff that is common knowledge, and there's other stuff that, that has, I think, indirectly made a difference. And I'll explain what I've kind of made a realization on, But is everybody else coming on too to jibber jabber?
What's up, Greg?
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
So you come up with some stuff too, Greg?
Yeah, it's mainly food related, and my dates might be off, but yeah.
There's such a thing as Google. Google would really help you out with the dates. I'm just saying, man. Just saying.
What's Google?
I know. Yeah, how do you use Google?
Yeah.
Okay. You use Discord, but you can't use Google?
Discord confuses me.
Okay. What's up, Castlevania? Welcome. So today's show is going to be on, as you see the title, it's Important Discoveries of the 20th Century. Anyone that comes on that would like to discuss a discovery, maybe that they find very important or interesting, or they know a little something about, you guys are more than welcome to come on up. Go ahead and post the link again. Anyone's more than welcome to come up. Greg, why don't we start with you?
Okay. About the it's crazy. Speaking of the 20th century, I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 1, and it's crazy. World War I is over 100 years old.
Yep.
Like, yeah. And I was watching videos from it. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was a crazy time in the country, in the world's So, your discovery.
Okay. This goes back to.
Oh, hold on. Stop. So, Greg, your discovery.
Oh, sorry.
What was that?
What is your discovery?
A lot of things like the weapons and everything, and like how modern aviation, fighting dogfights and everything, and like all that.
So, pretty much the military capability is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. How is that food related?
Oh, I don't know. You said my name, and I was just like World War One.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened militarily. We definitely
That
became
was,
a superpower in the 20th century.
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it did change. Did have a long-lasting effect on all our current technology for sure. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
but that was also a time when, out of necessity, came the need. Sorry, the necessity for invention came to create new technology to try to beat the enemy. So people were scrambling out of necessity for survival, basically. And we saw some great stuff, like flight. The improvement on how flight is done. It's an improvement on actual weapons technology at that time, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got the advent of stealth technology, stealth bomber, all the different,
Kenny, you're
vehicles,
fading in and out, eh?
all the different vehicles that we had. So it's one of those interesting things. Just a lot of stuff happened.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, so Stuck, what you got?
Well, this goes back as I was doing some digging because I mean, like, there's been so much in the last 150 years of people creating and inventing things. But one of the things that kind of caught my attention was called the Miller-Urey experiment. And what it was, and I'll explain after why it's kind of fascinating, is that it was this guy Miller had a hypothesis about the primordial ooze, essentially, from the beginning of life on the planet, eh? And he was actually able to essentially. I'm just summarizing the whole thing. Essentially, he was able to create an ooze that proved that it is possible for life to create in this particular um, substance. Eh? And when they opened up these test tubes or these things later, they found that there were 20 different or so amino acids, I think it was? Yeah, amino acids that were actually discovered inside these tubes that after he died. Eh?
Wow.
Yeah. And why that's fascinating is that gives us a new perspective on what our place is on this planet, and where we came from,
Mhm.
potentially.
Yeah.
What year did that happen?
That was back early 1950s. So it's not that long ago, but it's still long enough.
Wow, that was
What
a
I've
long
noticed
time.
doing a lot of the research, it's interesting. A lot of discoveries that I looked at happened between like 1930 and like 1960. That's when a lot of the really hefty discovery happened in the 20th century. It was around 1930 to 1960. Right in between there, like penicillin came to us then. Just all this different stuff that happened. Um,
Yep.
it's amazing. It's that little bit of time, all this discovery and invention. It's like all of a sudden, like it was like a group of muses came together and say, you know what, we're going to help these people out. They're stuck in the Stone Age, looking stupid. We're going to make them a little smarter here.
Mhm.
Maybe. Have we gotten smarter? I don't know. It's hard to say. But
Oh no! How could we not have been inspired? I mean, all of a sudden, all this stuff happened within like a 50-year span. What would you call it? It's not inspired.
True. Okay. I mean, scientifically, we're smarter, but actually, are we smarter as a human race? Because we seem to be doing a lot of stupid things overall.
Well,
You know,
well, that's a different discussion, honestly.
I know. I get it. No, but this whole primordial ooze, I mean, I don't know who's actually seen any documentaries on, how old our planet is and what the theories and um, ideas are on how life actually, started here and why only here. Why not on Venus? Why not on, Pluto, for God's sake? Like, why here? And it's fascinating to go through this. And this guy actually, he used the existing conditions that he believed were here at that time to create this ooze. And he created these amino acids, which are the building blocks of life.
You know the guy's name?
His name is Stanley. Hold on, his last name is Miller. Stanley Miller. Crap. Jesus. His last name is Miller. Yeah.
I see it. 53 experiment.
Yeah, that's one thing that caught my, because I was reading up on this. We were watching a couple documentaries a few months back, and I came across this, and I was like, "Holy shit! I didn't know about this." It's not COVID cough, but it's. But I mean, what does it make you think, guys? Like that, we are just like a small speck in the span of time, eh?
Well, it just shows that life will find a way. Um, it just goes to show you that with the right compounds, with the right structure, with the right time, the right just everything happens the right way, life will emerge. And it just, to me, it just reinforces the fact that there's no in hell we're the only species on this entire universe.
How do we know that, though? Okay, I mean, again, see that really brings in that question. This condition that he created for this primordial ooze that existed here on Earth, with the number of planets and solar systems and galaxies out there, yeah, there's a good chance, maybe, but maybe this is.
How is there a maybe? Think about this. We don't even know how big the universe is, right? We don't. We know a very, very small percentage of the universe. To think that we are the only intelligent species on Earth, I'm sorry, in the universe, do you realize how egotistical we would have to be to believe that?
Well, I wouldn't go as far as egotistical, but the odds and the chances are high, yes, that we are not the only ones out there. But
I think we are. I don't think it's a maybe. I think we are not the only ones out there, and there are people that are out there that are far more advanced than we are. We are at
I agree.
You're a baby. We are a baby compared to their technology. Because in order for them to get to us, do you know how advanced our technology would have to be? We can't get to them, but they can get to us.
Maybe. We don't know. Maybe they can't. And the universe is so vast, we'll never see them.
Oh, well, a lot of people would disagree with you and say we have seen them. There's many UFO sightings.
Okay.
Every day.
That's another I do believe that there might be a possibility that we are being visited and have been visited in the past, but it's conjecture right there until the government releases any information that we need.
Well, that's the thing. They're never going to do that. But I just keep going back to the thing. It's like, yeah, we would have to be. It's just there's just no way in hell. I get it. We fear the unknown. We don't want to be let out of our own little bubble. But our bubble is like a good analogy I would like to think of is how Men in Black. You have the last scene. The aliens come out and they're playing marbles with universes. It's like that. Our little universe, we know nothing. We know nothing. The more we know, that's like minuscule amounts of knowledge that is actually out.
Oh, exactly.
Out there.
More knowledge than we can probably comprehend.
And all that. So
which brings back
there's stuff out there that we can't comprehend, and we'll probably never be able to comprehend without some sort of help.
Yeah, exactly. But what if they're friend or foe though too? Maybe I'm thinking
we'd be dead now if they were foe. Okay, we'd be annihilated. But at the end of the other
Yeah.
discovery is like
No, that's not necessarily true. They could be peaceful. It doesn't. That's just because someone's out there doesn't mean
Yeah,
they're going to
that's
kill you. They're not. They're not
no,
humans.
I
They
know
don't have
that.
our
But
finite. I was talking to stuff. Yeah, but he was talking about how we'd be eliminated if there was someone out there. Not necessarily. They could be a peaceful
no, I was
race.
gonna say
They
I
could have
know that.
evolved
But
past. They could have evolved past ego like we have.
yeah,
You know what I
maybe.
mean?
But I
Especially
mean,
if they're traveling that far. If they're traveling that far, there's no way in hell they've got some sort of. If they were out there, to me they would have to have some sort of supreme intelligence, way more intelligent than we are, in
oh yeah,
technology that we couldn't even imagine or dream of.
well, the other secondary to that whole thing is these discoveries is the whole thing about the Big Bang theory, and that was the other thing that I was, that goes back. Oh, I don't even know what their last estimate was. It was like 14 billion years or something.
14.3, I think.
Pardon?
14.3 billion, I think.
Okay, yeah. So it
yeah,
was
some
really
crazy number.
5, then they changed to 8, but yeah, almost over 14 billion years. Can we wrap our heads around that? I can't.
So what other discovery did you want to talk about there, Steph?
Go ahead. I'm done. That was my 2. Those were the 2.
Let me
Okay.
comment on what you guys were just talking about. The odds of there being other life. I think you both agree. The odds are astronomical. Some cat, I usually know his name, did the math, and and he did it based on you need light. You have to be in the Goldilocks zone. You need the same air we breathe and all of that. And his shit came out that there were that there had to be life out there. And after he did that, we found out that the vents in the ocean, we found out that you don't need oxygen. You don't need sunlight, and life can exist off of crazy chemicals and shit like that. Poisons, even life finds a way to exist. So odds are very great. And with the 14 billion years, what I find interesting, when you look at a star, so look at our star, the sun. It takes 8.5 minutes for the light to hit us. It could have blew up. We wouldn't know it for 8 minutes. Now, when you look at some of those stars, you're looking back millions of years more. I think that's interesting as fuck too. You're literally looking back in time when you look at the stars.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very true. And you're also we're thinking about how life as we know it, carbon based.
Right.
All life does not have to be carbon based. It could be based off of something else. So I mean, it could be different elements, different factors that factor into life on different planets because they don't have the same ecosystem, the same minerals, the same all this stuff as we do here on Earth. But like Joe said, life will find a way. I mean, I guess it will. If
Now,
with the right circumstances, it will find a way.
Go back a 100 years back, and beyond. As a race, we wouldn't even be considering this kind of concept. This is why this is a big deal for the 20th century. This changed our entire mindset on how we perceive everything. Agreed?
I'm sorry.
I mean,
yes. Do we think this? This is why I think so people are so stubborn to believe it. They think that if there's life on other planets, it means there is no God, and it threatens their belief system. I'm a believer in God, never been to church. And also believe in logic. I believe he created such a thing, and science and math. That's the language he speaks. So I'm just following his language, and I'm believing that there's other life out there.
Well, here's a thought. Erich von Däniken, you know who he is? Joe?
Say again?
Erich
von Däniken, you know who he is?
I do not know.
Chariots of the Gods.
Chariots of the Gods.
Okay, I remember. Yeah.
Think about that. That's where I believe. Now again, this is what I believe in anyway, is that this is our whole concept of where God came from. Is from his idea that the gods are actually aliens, but we believe them to be gods. Therefore, God, But he really put it out there, didn't he?
He did, and he took some good stories.
He's got other books,
to some good evidence. In
Oh,
the
yeah.
Bible, they talked about Daniel in particular talked about seeing things flying in the sky. With they could be described, and he used them as chariots because that's what he knew. We might call them a plane or a jet if we were using our descriptive language.
You
So he
mean
said, look like they
Ezekiel?
had faces and eyes. Those could be windows or lights. You
Right.
know, if you look at it like that, yes, it could totally be aliens and alien crafts.
Exactly. I think he's probably, I wouldn't say of the greatest discoveries. I think he's probably one of the greatest minds to actually come out with something that actually looked at something in a real logical sense. That
Yeah,
made
it is logical.
to everybody.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at
Mhm.
another with the Bible, with the description of the elephant, they called it what, the behemoth in the Bible. And they described it. And when you hear it described, oh wait, that's an elephant. That's not a behemoth. That's
Mm-hmm.
an elephant. So, I mean, yeah, just
Yeah.
things are discovered. Things are explained the way with what you know. Like if I were to go out there and I saw something look like a bus in the sky, I'd be like, well, it looked like a bus. I mean, it's really all I can describe it as. It's a flying bus. That's really
It looked like a flying bus with no wheels and
yeah,
extra headlights on the back. You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
100,000 years from now, they don't even know what the fuck a bus was. They're doing their best to see what the hell we were talking about.
Exactly. Absolutely. All right. Well, Sean, welcome to the panel. What do you have to say
Howdy.
on the subject?
What's
A
up,
few
Sean? What's up, NJ?
oh, a few things there. We were talking about the idea, if you believe in God, you can't believe in life from other planets. Remember, the first line of Genesis, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Very good, right?
Nobody ever said it was just earth. It's open to interpretation. Yeah, I remember the
Good
late
point.
Carl Sagan, who I loved. And
Yes.
I would see him on Tonight Show often because Johnny Carson had a real fascination with astronomy. And so those two got along very well. And then he wrote the book Contact, which of course became a movie with Jodie Foster, only for better roles and not overdone. And very simple logic. They said the idea was, if we're the only ones here, that's a great waste of space out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Contact, check it out.
Well,
Forget that Jodie Foster is the best actress to ever grace the fucking planet. Aside from that, the concept, like Sean is talking about, you got to check it out. And they're smart. They don't
read the
have
book
motherfuckers
first,
traveling in
there's things
crabs,
missing.
which would take ages to get from planet to planet. They found a better way to do it.
Well, the book has more information than the movie does, because the movie, of course, is short.
Oh, I didn't know it was a book.
Yeah, Carl Sagan, the late Carl Sagan, the astronomer, wrote the book.
Really?
Yes, he wrote the book Contact. The movie is based exactly on his writings, and that's why it says at the end for Carl Sagan.
You didn't know that?
He wrote a book called Contact, and they took that book and they made a movie out of it. He never did say there were billions of billions. That was actually Johnny Carson playing Carl Sagan who made that comment. But people thought it was Sagan for years who had made that joke about how many stars are in the universe. I don't sit around and worry too much about life on other planets. I don't worry about 10 billion years from now. I won't be here. And if I am, I'm going to be really sick by that time.
Angry.
No, not angry, just sick. Anger is waste. I try not to be angry.
I think I'd be angry if I had to sit around here. The reason I'm so peaceful now is I believe this shit's ephemeral, and when it's done, I move on to my family. Even if I got to come back and try it again, I get to see my family and all of that. If I had to sit here with a bunch of cats, man, and everybody else is falling off, dying off, and I'm the only motherfucker living, I would be miserable. Fuck you, cats.
Hey, Joe?
Yeah.
If the sun explodes, I don't want to know, but I do want to be at ground zero.
Right? If they drop a bomb on Chicago, I want to be downtown when it happens. Where I live is just far enough to get really fucked up and not die.
I live right next to a liquor store.
Well, I live not too far from both the depot and the what do you call it? The dock, if you will, of
Yeah.
Earl Naval Weapons Station.
Okay. So yeah, I hear where you're going with that one.
Yeah,
I don't live
they're
far
they're
from
not
Hill
going to
Air Force
waste.
Base.
They're not going to waste any device on New York City.
Really, you think? That'd be a great fucking PR move to blow up New York.
Yeah, why ruin the
Oh,
infrastructure
thanks.
if you're going to invade later?
I agree, but right now I don't know. I know they've been looking for a weapon to kill everybody and leave the city so they can inhabit it. I'm not sure they found such a beast yet.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
called
they have.
DeBlasio.
Oh, yes, they have. There's a type of a nuclear device that puts out nothing but radiation and a not so big explosion. It'll kill off everything and
Dirty
leave the
bomb.
infrastructure. No, well,
Problem
that's
is,
no.
if it's
Neutron.
A bomb is something else. This is
Yeah.
I can't quite remember the name of it.
I've
Those
heard
are neutron bombs.
stories
if
about
there's
that.
true radiation though, then the buildings are no good for 10,000 years. You can't inhabit them nowhere.
No, that's not how. No, that's if you have fallout by sucking up debris into the explosion and irradiate that. It gets irradiated, becomes a source, and drops back down. If you just irradiate radiation, it's gone shortly after it goes out.
But Kenny Atoll still has radiation on it.
Yeah, it's because it had a lot of debris from the explosion get contaminated.
Or you think really the radiation itself would dissipate? I have to look into that.
Over a long period of time.
I would assume long too.
If the substance is
That was funny. Who said that
Taco.
shit?
Taco,
Okay,
the
Josh.
king.
Taco, that was funny.
There we go.
You're right too. The alien shit was bogus at the end.
All right, so Diver, do you have important discovery of the 20th century you would like to talk about?
Up to 20th century.
Yeah, I had to come back. I already listed them.
Computers, right?
The 20? Yeah,
No,
computers.
semiconductors, the transistor.
The transistor.
The transistor, my man says.
Yeah, not too far from.
Yeah.
In fact, I've been in Bell Labs before they closed it.
Wow.
It's now reopened as a major research center, but they're basically just a huge mall that they rent space out. It's two large rectangular buildings with a huge atrium in the middle.
Yeah.
Dang.
Oh my God, this pizza's good. The second day is even better.
Always. Every single time.
Always.
Time around. Yeah, like
Cold
since
too.
yeah, the flavors like marinate.
Yes. I believe that with beans, greens, soul food, the second day is better.
Yeah, that too. Go ahead, Diver.
Yeah, I also nominated antibiotics.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. That saved
Oh,
As a
yeah.
millions
vague thing,
of
and then
lives.
of course polio and smallpox vaccines being particular.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Antibiotics, when they came out, they thought that we'd have no more disease. They were really enthused about that shit. They thought it was the end of disease for humans, period. That's how fucking
Yeah, I did.
strong they felt about it.
Yeah, sorry, I did some quick research. It's called a neutron bomb.
That's what I said.
Yeah, antibiotics, man, especially the invention of penicillin, man, that saved so many lives. And
Yes.
And still is, right?
yeah.
Still is.
Yeah.
I'd be dead
But-
without that shit. I got asthma.
Absolutely.
I catch a chest infection every year or two, and they'd kill me without antibiotics. I'd have been dead.
yeah, but the thing is, they're discovering that diseases are becoming more resilient to it because because penicillin and antibiotics are just overprescribed when they first came out. Everyone's like, what is it? Give it to everyone for everything. So now they're finding out that viruses are becoming more resistant to it. So they're gonna have to. There's gonna have to be another big discovery soon.
I agree, and it's going to have to be big, right? Because if these things find ways to mutate like that, and the body is all these things we're doing to fix it. My brother has a glioblastoma, which is it's a 100%. It's supposed to kill you, brain cancer, the most aggressive kind known. And the reason it's so aggressive is because if you use chemo, it mutates. You can't use it again. You use the gamma knife, it mutates. You use whatever you use, it'll mutate and you can only use it once. So median life expectancy is like 14 months. If you go through all the treatments, you still only get a few years. Our body mutates the same way this fucking to defeat the antibodies the same way the diseases or whatever mutate. Viruses is the word I was looking for. They mutate.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
it's
why it's
weird.
so hard to. That's why it's so hard to come up with some sort of cure or vaccine for viruses because of the way they mutate. Some of them just mutate more rapidly than others. It really just all depends.
Here's an abstract idea as far as discoveries, because you can't concrete it. The ability, what humans discovered within themselves, within their minds, that we could fly, we could go to space, we could build computers, things that they hadn't done before. The same materials were out there, but the ability to dream and not be denied.
That is fucking heavy. I was trying to come with counter arguments. I was trying to come up with some counter arguments that in the history in the past they've come up with, I don't know, telescopes, so and so. But yeah, never have a motherfucker been able to imagine so much. And Einstein he said imagination is more important than knowledge because you have to imagine a thing before you can even make it happen. So that was interesting, whoever said that.
Me.
That is very true because look at how many discoveries have come from movies or books or whatever. Like they got the idea from a book or a movie, like, oh, let me expand upon that and see if I could bring it to reality. And all of a sudden they do. Like the cell phone, the model for the Razor phones. That came from the Star Trek little communicator device. Yeah. So I mean, just
Really?
absolutely right. Oh yeah. Yes, young Greg. Yes.
Yeah.
When I was young, me and my guy we used to write a lot of sci-fi, and I had an idea that what if we had some type of phone, a small screen where we could have an image, and you can put it on there, and he thought it was crazy. Oh hell no, that's impossible. No, that's just too far-fetched.
Joe, you're talking about when you were young in the 1800s? They had that.
Oh fuck you!
That's cold.
They had watches in the 1800s, Joe.
Remember Dick Tracy, the old cartoon strip with the two-way radio on his wrist?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Dick
That was a long time ago.
Yep. Now we got Fitbits and phone watches and all that. I mean, man.
The earbud that they use on these movies now, I don't even know if that technology exists the way it is in the movies. But, you can just, it's just a bone mic where it just picks up the slightest fucking talking and shit. I don't know if that's even real or not, but they use it in movies nowadays. Everybody got to give me your earpiece.
Yep. And little minor things that have come along we don't think about as important discoveries. But how about the microwave oven?
Oh, that was huge.
So bachelors can eat.
Yeah.
Well, the original probably weighed as much as your car. The first microwave.
I know.
And they're expensive.
Look at the cell phones that first came out. Those bricks, you could kill somebody with one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, they only good for murder, right? You can murder a motherfucker. They never found a weapon. Nobody even figured out what was it.
Right.
That's how I can tell. I can tell how old an episode of Cops is by the technology. If they bring that brick phone out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It depends on the generation of the flip phone or iPhone they're using.
Now, have you noticed? Like I've noticed this. Like no matter what year a phone movie comes out, why are they always using flip phones? It could be 2015. The cops or whatever always have a flip phone as opposed to a touch screen phone. What the fuck is that?
Probably because they're cheap and easy to use for them as far as effects and carrying them around. If they lose them, they give them another one. They probably have
and as long as they're not doing the internet shit, then it's adequate. But if they want to sit up and do YouTube and post videos and shit, then no, not so great.
Yeah. All right. So, Sean, what about you? And you have any other discoveries you would like to discuss?
He got to the antibiotics. I just think it's we got to the computers, the automobile. As far as we know it now, I know they had like the Model A's and everything, but just all the technology and all the way we've streamlined it over the years, and some of that's military because we had Jeeps now that were military only at one time. But the cars just keep getting better and better.
I would say, if you're done, because I'm really into the theory shit, like it looks like Kenny is. I would say the particle accelerator.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Oh yeah. And that goes along with the nuclear age. Yeah, no question about it. I mean, it's amazing
the
how
shit
big
that
those
they can do
tunnels are.
now. They found the Higgs boson and all these other particles and shit that we would have never known exist without it.
Absolutely.
How
And
about
also-
video games?
Also, I thought that was impressive. Nothing's supposed to exceed the speed of light, and as far as I know, nothing has. And so I remember reading years ago that these things take the particles and they spin them in opposite directions at near the speed of light, and then they slam them into each other and see what happens. And I thought near the speed of light, I was thinking, well, 70%, nothing can get that close. It turned out to be 99.99. These things are moving when they slam them into each other.
Yeah, video games is another good one, because, it's just that goes along with the computer technology and all that. That's more like the late 20th century, like the 70s. That's when Pong first came out, like the 70s, right? I think.
I
Yeah.
remember the poem, yeah.
Yeah, television in itself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Television.
Just
that's a big one.
communications. We can just say just bring
Yeah,
us
TV
generic
would
communications.
would be the precursor of the computer. TV is pretty impressive, yeah.
And look
Well,
how
hey,
fast
how
we've
about the
accelerated the
radio?
last 30 years
Radio,
from
I
what we
was
did the
just
first
gonna say
90.
radio. Trump's
That wasn't that the 19th century, though, the radio?
That had to be magic, the radio.
Recorded sound, Edison.
The recorded sound. Now we got to be in the 19th century, right?
Yeah, but we're
Well-
talking about we're kind of talking about the 20th century, though.
Yeah, or film.
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 Mm,
You know that
yeah,
had to be magic, right? You know that had to be magic. That
Yeah, the first
that
talk
radio
radio.
shit. My mom and dad talk about how one person might have a radio in the neighborhood and they would come and sit around it like you're watching
Yeah.
a fucking 65-inch HD. And all the kids would come in and they would behave because they wanted to be able to come next week and see that radio broadcast or hear it, even though she say they stare at the radio. They form a circle around the radio. I thought it was crazy.
My mom
Yeah, and
grew
my
up without
grandparents used to tell
electricity
me
in
that.
Louisiana. They had a giant dry cell battery ran their radio.
Wow. My mom is from Louisiana too.
What part?
Monroe.
My mom was right from the state line around a little town called Amy. Mount Herman, right on the state line of Mississippi. She found out later she was actually born in Mississippi, and she never lived down. Because as being from Louisiana, we have one thing in common: we refuse to recognize Mississippi's right to exist.
Fuck.
We never accepted it.
Also, back to the radio thing, like you're talking about people sitting around the radio. Well, that's exactly what happened when the War of the Worlds was read one night.
Oh yeah.
Everyone thought the world was going to
I heard
end.
that.
Everyone was freaking the hell out. They thought everything was real and we were being attacked by aliens. That was
Somebody
crazy.
brought that up recently and
The
said
biggest
that
prank of
that-
history.
that's how they knew they can get away with this COVID shit because they saw how we reacted from that broadcast and they knew
Oh,
if they
yeah.
do this shit, we'd fall for it. Someone said that.
No, that's
Yeah, but
stupid
it's
because the
technology.
technology the technology is so advanced right now that no, we need more in order for everyone to fall for the COVID bullshit. The way some people are trying to purport that it's happening. No.
In general,
No, the World of the War thing. That's like the biggest troll
Yeah,
ever.
Yes, the good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, I've heard it on YouTube because I was curious, and I'm just like, I was just dying the whole time. Like, yo, people really bugging out over this. I just got trolled hard body.
yeah, absolutely.
fairness,
Aaron, that is very true. Indoor plumbing, the invention of the toilet was in the 20th century, and that saved so many lives.
Yeah.
You don't see these are the type of things we don't think of on a daily basis. Like you go down, you take a shit in the toilet, and you don't even think about, wow, you know, if I didn't have this, I'd be fucked.
Or
you have
fucking,
an
I know
outhouse
this.
like my mama had.
this might not be 20th century, but fucking we get up every day and we have hot and cold running water and electricity. When I need to look for something after dark, I just hit a button and I can go find it. Imagine I gotta find the lamp, light a candle, I mean, and all of that crazy shit. They did that for entire human history until recently.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say I was curious on this toilet thing.
Yes.
Okay, I used everybody called Google. If anybody wants to know what that is, just asked when was the first flushable toilet invented? Back in 1596 by Sir John.
Yes. You know they did a couple way back then, but
20th century. I'm sorry. I had a feeling about that. I remember reading something about similar to that a while back.
but yes, they invented it back then, but they didn't use it. No one used it for many years until someone came up with the with either royalty would use it, and then the U trap so the smells don't come back out of it. Once they came up with that, it became popular, and I'm sure that was more recent.
But it was more recent to improve on it, but I mean it was invented
Yeah.
back then.
Yep.
So be careful how we define invented,
Joe was speaking of the neighborhood
Oh.
with the radio thing.
Who invented the radio, guys?
Yeah.
I
Franklin
did.
Delano Roosevelt communicated to the nation constantly with what they called the fireside chats. First during the Depression and then during World War II by radio. People learned more than they could have by newspapers.
Yeah. And Marconi got credit for inventing the radio, yeah?
Marconi, but they think Tesla might have had more.
Tesla has now been given credit. Yes, he had all the designs, all the parts, but his luck wasn't so great. Everybody was able to steal his shit, yo.
Yeah.
He had a rough life.
They got a good band named after him.
A car.
No, Tesla.
Yeah.
No,
Tesla
a band
car.
named Tesla.
That man needs a lot of credit because from what I've seen on a lot of stuff that they've talked about of his inventions, his ideas, his concepts, were way ahead of everything. Decades.
Who came up with the AC current? I think Edison was pushing DC and someone else. Westinghouse, I think it was.
No, Tesla was part of that. Tesla was
came
part
up-
of that whole argument.
That was pretty smart, that alternating current as opposed to direct current. I remember him and Edison had huge fights over that shit. And he used to work for Edison, too.
Yep.
Edison wouldn't
They invented
accept
air
his ideas, and he separated.
That Edison.
Did y'all know that one of his original bulbs that's in his workshop is still burning to this day?
I've heard that.
Are you serious?
It's just
No, I'm serious. Yes. It's a low wattage, so it doesn't burn the element, and it's been burning to this day.
What? I gotta see that.
Years ago.
That's crazy, right?
I'm happy with my
Yeah.
LEDs. I see just fine with them, and they don't.
I don't have a problem with LEDs. Plus, they save us bread.
Well, they're also legal.
Microchip. Fizzy, I think you hitting on the head with that. Yes. I think aliens invented the microchip, so that might don't count.
And one thing nobody's mentioned: air conditioning.
Air conditioner. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't
air
even use
conditioning.
that shit. I prefer to like now. I just turned my AC on in the car yesterday or the day before. I've had the motherfucker for I don't know how long. I've never even checked it. In the winter, I keep my fucking windows cracked. I like to hit the streets. In the summer, I don't give a fuck if it's 100 degrees. I keep my window down.
I'm
man.
asthmatic and I don't like heat that much.
Me too. I hate it, but
I
love
love the
the
air conditioning.
heat.
It's never cold enough in my house.
it's never cold enough. You said?
Never cold enough in my house.
I hate
In the
that.
summertime.
My girl's like that, man. Then we come down to have sex. I'm freezing and her ass is just jolly.
TMI.
I hate
Right,
that
that's
cold
the
shit.
TMI.
That's what it is.
TMI.
She's not freezing. 'cause you
Yeah,
came over.
bro.
All right, I'll leave that line alone.
All right, so another discovery that I want to talk about that happened was blood transfusions. Those saved millions and millions of lives, and they were first done back in the day, but some people were using goats or animals' blood to transfer into humans. But there's this one guy, Charles R. Drew, an African American, actually performed the first modern blood transfusion from human to human. After the discovery of the different types of blood, like the AB, O positive, blah blah blah, or whatever.
Yes.
So,
Sure helped a lot.
He
Yeah.
he was definitely key, and unfortunately, he ended up dying like in a car crash and all that. It's really sad. But I find that really interesting that was one of the, because I mean that's huge for just medical field in general.
That's huge, but it's still impressive. It hasn't saved as many lives. But Daniel Hill, another brother, the first heart transplant. People said it was impossible. No, you can't do it because the heart beats and you kill a motherfucker and all that. I mean, everything after that was possible because he did it that first fucking time.
And the artificial heart to go with it as well.
What about the hearts?
He says artificial heart.
Artificial heart.
Yeah. Those are a bit scary, man, because the life expectancy on them is so short, and you never, like it doesn't speed up like your adrenaline. If you got a real heart, your adrenaline kicks, it speeds up, blah blah blah. That artificial heart almost is a death sentence unless you get a real one.
Stem cell research. I thought that was 21st century. I want to say. Am I wrong? Was it early?
Yes.
Was it late 90s? Maybe it was the late 90s.
I think I heard about the late 90s.
Late-
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. So I guess it will be 20th century then.
Here's a fun fact for that stem cell research. When they were stuck in the mud because the cells die so quick. And the guy, Ashford and Simpson, the group, solid as a rock. Well, that's Nick Ashford. His brother's name is Calvin Ashford. He used to live downtown in Chicago. When he went to college as a freshman, he suggested that people use the skin from circumcisions. He told him it would last longer. And the college that he went to found out he was right, and they told him as a freshman, we'll graduate you with a fucking full degree and a fucking bachelor's or whatever come next if you let us run with this shit. And he said yes, and he graduated immediately and started a career. True story. That's where the stem cell circumcision advances came from. Now they're all done with circumcised tissue from babies. And that's where the idea came from, Calvin Ashford.
Oh, don't tell Light to Jerry Bay that one. I heard what she does, what they said they do with foreskins.
Now, all right. So the reason I want to talk about all this is because there are many times where I'll be sitting there, I'll be talking with a bunch of group of people when I come up with, I like alcohol. I like to drink. I'm not even going to lie. But then I always wonder, now, who the hell got the idea to try this rotten fruit to see if it was good and what it would do to them?
Well, you got to believe that happened by mistake, right? Somebody,
or a bet or a dare or something. I dare you to drink that rotten potato.
Or yes, that's more disgusting. But I can see somebody pushing it. They made their fruit drink it turned bad. Back then, it ain't like they can just go to a Jewel, Osco, and go get another bottle. So they pushed it. They pushed it. Yeah.
That's true. That's the only thing I can think of how it had to happen. It had to be an accident, or they're just so bored or so poor that they had to, some sort of circumstance like that. Now, me personally, I would have kept it to myself.
I think it was poor. I think it was the latter. I think it was out of poor.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I remember hearing about the Kimber. Jehovah's Witnesses can't get blood transfusions.
Hey again, Kimber. How you doing?
Yeah. I was a Jehovah's Witness growing up. It sucked, by the way. I'll tell you that. I didn't celebrate my first birthday until I was like 14.
Really?
Nope. Not until I was like 14, because I was a Jehovah's Witness all the way up until then. They don't celebrate birthday. I didn't believe in Santa Claus. None of that crap.
Oh, poor kid.
Oh, Kenny.
It sucked, but hey, hey, at least I didn't have that whole. What do you mean, Santa's real? You lied to me. I didn't have to do that.
I couldn't lie to my kid. I used to tell her, "Go ask your mom." She asked me anything about Santa Claus because I refused to lie to her. Go ask your mom. Go ask your mom. Is Santa Claus coming tonight? Go ask your mom.
Now, remember, I never lied to you about that. It was all your mom.
I'm not gonna lie to her. I always tell him, you got the courage to ask the question. I got the courage to answer it.
Oh, I knew a couple of years before I even told my parents. I figured, why cut off a good thing?
Say that again.
I
Well,
knew about Santa Claus before I told my parents. It took a couple of years before we finally had that talk, because why cut off the gravy train?
I know, right? I did the dumb
Hey,
thing.
I believe in Santa gets stuff. Good enough for me.
I
Yeah.
did. I wish I'd known you when I was a kid. I did the dumb thing. I let the other kids tell me I was the baby. There's no Santa. I went and told my mom. She was like, "Good. I ain't got to get you nothing for Christmas this year." Like, God damn it, son of a bitch!
Do you get the encyclopedia? So there actually was a guy named Santa Claus, but he didn't go flying around the world. But there was a guy named Santa Claus. There was a saint.
I know, right?
That's
All
right.
right, guys, I'm on break at work. I got to get back. Kenny, I'm gonna try to keep up with you, man. I dig your
All right, man.
shit. And listen, I hop on a lot of panels, and I know everybody. I'm in everybody's room, and this conversation is rare. I want all of y'all to know that shit.
that's
Yeah, it's
right.
fun. Nobody yelled at anybody.
Nobody, and we talked to that too, right? Nobody put nobody down, call nobody a name, and we talked about fucking knowledgeable shit. I love that shit. Like,
Well, I
I'll
think it
be
goes back
thinking,
to the host and what they permit. You know, other streams helps
agreed.
encourage it.
Oh, Sean, I'm loving you. Bro.
Yeah, but Joe, I just one thing before you go. You didn't confirm or deny that you were living in the 18th century.
I still owe Jesus $20, bro. I still owe 12 shekels and a goat. Jeez.
Oh damn! You
Oh,
you
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 didn't
need
make
a
it to
time
40
machine
acres
to
and a
bring
mule
your
yet?
ass to the 20th century.
Sorry, I just got to poke. Sorry, guys.
Here's a joke one for you. I heard this. Three guys sitting around asking, "What's the greatest discovery of the 20th century? Greatest invention?" One guy said, "Well, it has to be the computer. It made so many things, possible." And the guy said, "Well, it's got to be communications, because look what we've done with that." And the third guy says, "A thermos. A thermos? They keep hot things hot, cold things cold. How do it know?"
Hey, it's hard to argue that.
It really
Right?
is.
It's hard to argue that. It's like, oh,
I
yeah,
can't argue it.
Right. Okay, here we go, guys. Let's take a vote with everyone in here. Was a thermos the greatest invention of the 20th century, or was it the computer? Let's see who
Computer.
believes it. I think people probably can say computer, but hey, I would have to say this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll argue thermos. Yeah, sure.
I'll take number one.
Thermos?
Yeah, the thermos.
Why not?
Why not? Let's go with the thermos.
Because they needed thermoses
Computers.
to make a computer. Those guys had to take their coffee to work to make computers.
Good logic.
Yeah.
Good
Well, I
logic.
mean, when you think of computers like right along with it, it's a communication device anyway. So I mean, it's pretty much.
Well, it's two different kinds of things, though. The computers came way after the telephone.
Yeah, true. It did absolutely.
Then they worked hand in hand. You look at it; it's still mind-boggling to this day that not only did we go to the moon with the primitive technology, if we call it now,
Yeah.
but then I think our most shining moment ever in that era was bringing Apollo 13 home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a constant thinking on the fly. Okay, what if we orbit around the moon, we burn for like a few seconds on the lunar module, that'll get us back into the right orbit and get us slingshotted to Earth.
Yeah.
Genius. And they made a filtration system on the fly. They just kept finding ways to succeed.
Yeah, it was amazing how they got those guys back. It was good to see just human ingenuity and human know-how, knowledge, and hope just came together and just accomplished that amazing feat. We didn't lose a man up there that trip, and it was fantastic.
And you think about it, we lost one on the launch pad in 1967 in a simulation, Apollo 1, which did not really hold us back except for time, because they already had Apollos laid out. Who's going to do what?
One blew up, didn't it? On the way to space.
One blew up on the pad. Of course, the Challenger blew up in 1986.
Challenger, that's what I meant. Yeah.
And then the Columbia was doomed from the moment it got to space, and the heat shields had peeled off.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it was so eerie to see the films of, you could see these streaks across the sky, and you knew that was them. They were dead. But that was just their remains flying through the sky. It's like, And I know it's cold to say, but the success rate was actually pretty high,
Yeah, it was.
much higher than the Soviets were ever going to admit. They had some of theirs die on the crash landings,
Yeah.
which 5 years later I told you about.
Yeah. So what do you think? So now that we talked about that, what do you think are the next big inventions that you think are going to happen in the 21st century? Diver, we'll start with you. Start with you, Sean.
A cure for frauditors.
Oh, that would be a good one. That's
right,
far.
yeah. You could.
That one is needed horribly.
Yes, it is mean. Yeah.
No, it's needed. It's needed.
Yeah.
Horribly.
Yeah. Just you could just tell when they walk in the room.
Yeah.
That activate electric fence.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Greg? What do you think? Greg, are you there?
No, Greg's gone.
He's
Oh,
muted.
it's-
Yeah, no, he's all.
Sorry, I was blindsided. What was the question?
What do you think the next big invention is going to happen for the 21st century?
Here you go.
Whew. I think robotics and AI.
Does seem to where it's going. That's what scientists seem to be working on. Nanotechnology is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
And
good one.
hopefully I get to see that in my lifetime.
That'll be pretty cool. Well, you're pretty young enough. You probably will.
Yeah.
What about you, Stuck?
I agree with the AI robotics. But I think a lot of the stuff that's going to happen in the next 100 years is we're going to see improvement on what we already have as far as the technology. A small example, I saw this on TV or on an ad that these hearing aids that people wear now has gone from those big bulky things to this new slick looking hidden technology that people can wear and use. So I mean, it's things like that are going to be improved on immensely.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm asking you, what do you think is going to be the next big groundbreaking one? Not the obvious ones. Not the obvious. That's obvious.
Other than potentially AI and maybe robotics, I don't think there's much else. It's going to be more improvements on what we see. There's not going to be much groundbreaking.
Well, see, think about this. There are people like you that are thinking, "Oh my God, the Edisons built the telephone. There's nothing bigger than that." And now look at us.
I agree. Okay, I can't. I mean, but I can't. I'm not able to conceptualize anything beyond.
I don't mean either. I agree. I know what you're talking about. But I'm just remember, there's always those people that are naysayers. People say, "Oh, we can't do any better than we can," but But then, like I think it was Sean. Sean was saying, it's all about imagination, and you're just able to visualize it in your head. And unfortunately, none of us on this panel are able to do that, which is why we're all talking about it here on YouTube, as opposed to going out there and inventing shit.
That's why we're here talking about this.
Yeah. Because we can't visualize all the shit
from different part of the country.
I'm gonna go out and try a brave one here. Cure for cancer.
Now here's the thing.
For that,
I think that's a great idea, and I wish they would. But I think it would be too much of a political nightmare, because the fucking medical field is not going to want to get that out. Look what happened when they found the AIDS cocktail. What did they do with that? They priced it so high no one could fucking afford it. It took the government to get involved to where everybody could afford to get it. That's what will end up happening with if they do cure cancer.
Well, and part of the AIDS problem at first was the misconception of who got AIDS and who didn't.
True, that too.
Because I was alive in 1981 in a city, Reno, which had a decent sized gay population, and so this was very local. I have friends who died.
Yeah.
The years since, and all we did was sit around talking about who got it and who did, rather than trying to fix it.
Yeah. Well, no, they came up with it, but like when they first, the cocktail. We all know about the cocktail and how it's the best little idea. Well, when it first came out, there's countries that applied to get it, they wouldn't get it because they didn't have enough money to. The U.S. government came in and told the companies, no, you can't do this. You're going to have to give it to them and make it affordable. They forced the pharmaceutical companies to lower the price and give it to these countries that need it and to the people here. They made it affordable. The government had to step in and do that. My fear is with any big discovery for medicine again, they're going to try and do something like that. They're going to try and gouge you, make as much money as they can, because at the end of the day, it is a business.
It is. Unfortunately, it is a business, and I mean the costs sometimes, and I'd like to see open justification of it, but there are justification to high costs initially because of the cost of research and development.
And how about medicines that have been around for millennia that I used to pay, let's see, 83 cents a month for? So that's in a quarter. That's what, 3 months? That's less than $3. I'm now paying $20 per quarter for the same drug.
Now, keep in mind, there's the cost of living increase built into that as well.
Oh, crap.
Yeah,
Right.
inflation.
Yeah, that's such a the inflation cost of living bull crap that's such a stupid argument because every time
it's every total cost. I understand. If you let me finish, is
That were the case.
potential for that cost of living increase? But there's also, there is possible, from the sound of it, a lot of gouging still going on today.
Well, how's this? The medicine I'm referring to is called Digitalis. It's been around for a couple of thousand years, used as poison. But in minute quantities, it strengthens the heart. I have to take one tiny little pill. It's the smallest pill I take every day. Excuse me. And yet my cost went from whatever 3 times 83 is to $20.
So $2 to 20, basically, essentially, rounded.
Yeah, well, two and change, 20, and it hasn't lowered since, and that's gotta be 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
wow.
Now where? Okay. So I mean, so there is,
And if the cost of living is a factor, how come they haven't increased it above $20?
That's a good point.
Just throwing it out there. I don't have facts, obviously, but like as you look at the dollar 100 years ago versus now, it takes on a different meaning. And same thing with all costs of goods, right? You buy.
Yeah. Well, here's another one. Now that I'm on Medicare, I find out that if I ever have to go on intramuscular injections for my diabetes, the meter will be provided to me at no cost, and the supplies for it will be paid by Medicare, which is, believe it or not paid by Medicare. It's paid by an insurance company that you pay premiums to. There's the reality of Medicare.
Okay.
Now that I'm on Medicare, not only am I still paying for my family's health insurance and dental insurance and drugs, which have co-pays, as well as doctors have co-pays, and equipment has a 10% co-pay. And but now I got to have $144.60 a month taken out of my Social Security payment that I've been paying into since 70 when I got my first part-time job and went on the payroll with all kinds of wonderful Medicare and Social Security deductions. Yet now they're going to take another $144.60 out of my income when I'm already paying $75-76 a month for family, and yet I've not seen that drop yet because I'm not on it anymore.
So there are some inherent problems here.
No. This is the system, my friend. This is what everybody's got to look forward to.
Yeah, you're in Canada, Suck, where all your Medicare is free. You don't got to worry about this type of
Well,
stuff.
our basic,
Nothing in this world is free.
oh no, our basic health care is covered by the taxpayer.
Oh my God! Look who's here.
Oh,
Yeah, your basic coverage is covered by the taxes you pay.
right, exactly. Now, what isn't covered are things like dental, eye care, and and extra things like chiropractors and whatnot as far as that's concerned. But we don't. What isn't covered as well is also our drugs. We don't get our drugs covered by our taxpayers. We pay out of pocket as well, and it is expensive here. Now, I mean, comparably so, I don't know how, I can't do a comparison with NJ, what you're saying, but, we do pay out of pocket for that. So we are lucky on that level,
That's a good one. You can smell the real Josh before he comes in.
Well, I guess there's a Josh lookalike in here.
Yeah, it looks like it. So, all right, since we're talking about Medicare costs, what do you guys think? All right, this is for people in the U.S., and I guess for you, Stuck, too, since you're in Canada. Would you guys rather us go to free Medicare for all, or would you rather them make it more affordable and really get on the medical companies to lower their prices? What would you guys think would benefit
but wait a
us better?
second. What do you mean by free Medicare for all?
There's no
Somebody's
free.
got to pay for it.
No, I agree, but
if you go to okay, I think what he's asking, and I can answer that directly and easily, is that if you have to go to the doctor for anything, or you have to go to the hospital, your bills are paid for, no matter what your condition and what you're going in to do, whether it be like extreme heart surgery to just a basic something. You don't have to worry about a bill coming back to you. I agree that it should be. Now, does everybody on panel think that your tax money is a good way to spend so that covers all of the costs?
I personally think they should make it more affordable and not free. My fear is if you put the government in charge of the Medicare, you're going to see a lot of drastic changes in everyday life because they're going to realize, well, we're fronting the bill, so we're going to control your lifestyle, the way what you eat,
Oh yeah.
what
You're
you
getting
do,
alcohol
all that.
test. You
They're
drink
going to
too much.
absolutely do that. So and that's too much control for the government to have. So
Well,
therefore, I'd rather have them make it affordable.
I
That
just
is
watched
the
an older video of a guy who got a motorcycle accident. He was in danger of getting a bad concussion. He didn't have Medicare. He didn't have anything. Okay, and he refused to go to the hospital, even though this man would go home, stitch himself up, which he wanted to do, and potentially have a concussion and die. Is this what you want people to get to, or do you want people to feel comfortable saying, "Yes, take me to the goddamn hospital, get me fixed up," and not worry about having to pay for the fucking thing?
I mean, people.
I think
I agree with you, but at the same time, you put the government in charge. All right, anybody who's on Medicare knows you don't get the name brand, top of the line crap with Medicare. If the government's fronting the bill for it, they're going to get you the cheapest, most potent of the cheap that they can get. You're not going to get the best care. And I'm afraid that also if they do it that way, there's going to be a lot less. There's a real bad clicking. What? Someone's got some clicking in the background.
Yeah, I was hearing clicking.
Yeah. All right. I think it's gone now. Okay.
weird. Okay.
I still hear it. Anyway, yeah, that's really annoying. All right. All right. So the problem is, like I said, they're gonna freaking get. The problem is, I'm afraid that more people are not gonna want to be doctors with all the free healthcare going around. They're gonna be like, well, wait, I'm not making any money. I'm not, and that's the whole thing. It's just going to stop people from getting into the medical field doctor-wise.
How
That
many
could be an issue.
standalone practices do you see anymore?
Not many.
My doctor, my original principal care physician that I acquired back in, I guess, 93, 94, was one of a few in the area that he was the only doctor in there. And he had interns come in occasionally that, of course, had to put in so many hours before they went out on their own. But he retired 2 years ago now. And I went to another doctor in a practice that I could kill two birds with one stone, or two, yeah. or 2/3 with one bone. Sorry, I just wanted to see if a neighbor pulled in or not. But anyway, she also had a specialty in pulmonary for CPAP, which I am suffering with. But she left the practice that she was in that I went to, and the practice had pretty good reputation. And then I found out why she left. The billing department billed me for a wellness visit with a copay. And under federal law, they're not supposed to. That was part of Obamacare. And 3 phone calls later, they finally gave me my copay off on one of my other visits. But then the following year, when I went, I actually got seen, which was this year. I actually got seen by the doctor, gave her the list of medications that I'm on that everybody else has given me, not just her. And she left it in the room, didn't take it with her. So I gave it to one of the clerks out in the front. And lo and behold, they ordered all of them, not just the few that she's responsible for. They ordered all of them. My cardiological meds, my gastroenterology meds, which she's not authorized to do because she doesn't have that specialty. But the drug company took it.
Is this place still in practice?
I'm not going to be a patient there much longer because I've already contacted the doctor that left the practice,
Yep.
and she's got openings. In fact, she's in on her own. I guess she found some cheap office space.
Yeah,
See, the problem with being alone in practice is you got to pay the malpractice, and that gets expensive. And it's cheaper if you have a business entity to insure rather than an individual doctor.
Okay, true. But again, it goes back to, I agree that the governments should be enforcing, a new policy at least. Somebody should be to get these, drug costs down so they're affordable for everybody across the board. But I also agree, based on what I've experienced here, is that a universal healthcare system can and does work. Now, ours isn't perfect. Don't get me wrong. It's had to been re-overhauled a few times, and it's currently being re-overhauled again because this was implemented in 1960s. So we got a 1960s system running in the 21st century. But at the end of the day, it's comforting to know that if I'm injured, I need to go get medical help. I don't have to worry about the damn bill, which a lot of people I know in the States do. So they refuse to go. Right?
That's all right. When my daughter was injured years ago in a traffic accident, and really the only injury she had was soft tissue in the knee, but we didn't know that at the time because she was walking around when we first showed up. All of a sudden, she sat down and realized that her knee hurt. But cost me, I think it was $400 out of pocket for an ambulance ride.
Yeah.
That was less than 10 miles.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that was my copay after the insurance company gave in $300.
Right. Now, go back to the universal system. You get that.
That was covered under auto insurance. And
Right.
when I put it into the health insurance for them to cover part of it, they said, no, that was an auto accident. We'll cover that.
Now, the hospital visit, did you get billed for that?
Some of those bills I did.
Okay. So you see, that's the thing. It becomes costly for a lot of people. Like you and I have been very lucky, along with a bunch of us here probably, that we haven't had to pull on the system much. But there's countless others out there that cannot afford this kind of care.
Well, I'm lucky because I got myself a decent job, worked at it for over 40 years.
So that's where, as a society, we need to, step up and say, yeah, we're lucky, but most of the population isn't. Let's take care of everybody. That's a big.
Guys,
Anyway,
well, just hold on for a second. When you guys are not talking, we're trying to figure out where the clicking is coming from. So when you guys are not talking, if you guys should mute it, because just mute your microphone. There we go. So it was stuck. It was you because it was still going when they both muted. So Stuck, there's something going on in your background or your mic or something. I want to look into that. Yeah, I can see Diver. You're good.
Yeah,
Sean,
my mic's open. I'm good.
oh, you're
I've been
fine.
walking
You're fine. Sean,
Okay.
that's not you, Stuck. Unmute. Oh, it's going. I think it's you, Sean.
Trying to find out where the noise
Maybe
is.
it's Kenny.
Well, I'll mute.
Oh, no. How's this? Is that better?
Yeah, I don't hear him now.
Yeah, I don't hear it either. All right. Thank God.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Kenny
We took
change.
Thanks a
care of
lot.
that. We took care of that.
Okay. Okay. I guess that's okay. All right. Sorry. I didn't realize it was me. Never used to have those problems.
All right, so Stuck, you're in Canada, so you guys have the free healthcare. Well, not free, but it's universal healthcare, right? Where you don't have to pay for anything. How high are your guys' taxes because of that?
Our taxes are, 25% tax rate, on the average income.
Now, do the doctors, do they ever like have any kind of do they have a say on your health or what you can do because of the free healthcare? Do they put limitations on you?
No, they don't, and they can't, and they don't. If you need, a heart surgery, then you're going in for heart surgery. No, and if they can get you in, they'll get you in. Now, our problem right now with the whole COVID thing is everything's backed up, obviously. But at the end of the day, there's no judgment on, who you are, what your background is, or anything. If whatever you need, you get.
Your healthcare is based on excuse me.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, your healthcare is based on demographics.
Meaning what? Sorry.
You said.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it doesn't matter where you are, where you come from. Whatever you need, you get. The doctors don't have don't decide, well, because you are from a lower income or you're from this side of town, we're not going to do this for you. You got to go do this instead. We don't do that.
But all right, yeah. Now, but do they ever like say because of your history of this, we don't want you to do this, and if you do this, we're not going to give you service?
Oh no, they never refuse service. No. But
No, not refuse service, but like they say, look, you can't have salt anymore, or you can have sugar, or we're not going to cover this because you're not helping yourself, sort of thing.
I don't know. I've never. That's a good thing to. I should look into that maybe.
Because I mean, think about it, they're paying for it. They could pretty
Talking
much
about
tell you
people that abuse the system.
absolutely.
Okay, all right, that's what you're getting at. Okay, I didn't realize what you were getting at on that. Yeah, I mean, the doctors will say yay or nay on stuff for sure. Yeah. Give me half a second, guys. Just gonna check on my pups. I'll be right back. Sergeant Ray here.
Mute your mic.
That's one of my fears. Is we know pretty much across the board now, as a former smoker, the way we always felt 30, 40 years ago is that, yeah, we know it's bad. We'll sign the waiver. Thank you. We're not expecting you to feel sorry for us or what happens, but pretty much you can't get good coverage or, you get what you want. We understand that. But now they're going to start checking your alcohol levels. They're going to see how much you drink.
Is this what's happening
That's
there?
the problem with your liver. There are companies in Utah that are giving alcohol tests as conditions of employment.
Really?
Absolutely.
I
yeah,
wanna
think
find
about it.
out. I don't think it's
Insurance
legal.
companies will deny you because of pre-existing
Conditions. No, I know that.
conditions.
Yeah, I know about the insurance.
So
companies.
and they're paying for it. So why think about it? Why wouldn't the government do that if they're fronting the bill for your medical costs?
Well, see, that's one of the things that Obamacare was supposed to take care of. They weren't supposed to be able to refuse you for a pre-existing condition.
Oh, okay. And then they repealed the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Well, not entirely.
The one thing about Obamacare that I didn't like was the fact that it forced you to get Medicare or some sort of insurance, or you're going to get fined. I was fine because I had the VA. I never had an issue with that, but I thought that was stupid. I was like, that is just ridiculous.
Really? Okay, so that's how that Obamacare was coming into effect, is you were forced to.
That's why
you're forced to have coverage.
Right, the only thing that we like here, we carry a card. It's called for Ontario anyway. It's called the OHIP card, Ontario Hospital Insurance Plan. You have that card, you can take it to any doctor, any hospital. You show that, you're good to go. You get your help that you need, whatever it might be, and that's the way it should be down there. I mean, if it's ever going to be implemented, none of this forcing you to have certain insurance stuff going on. Christ, that's not.
Well, they had to pay for it somehow, make sure everyone's paid, made it legal and all that, and it was stupid. But luckily, I had VA, so I never had to worry about it because
Yeah.
free VA insurance works great for me.
The whole concept of the coverage is that the taxpayers foot the bill for your hospital plan, so they pay the bill for the doctors and the hospital, all the hospital costs, ambulances, everything else that's needed, and that's it. End of story. Now it is expensive. Don't get me wrong. It is a huge expense on our budget. Right? It's one of our biggest expenses right now. But I think it's a good thing to have in our society. I think.
There's got to be.
Well, I think
do it.
I definitely agree that. Oh, go ahead.
Concept,
Sorry.
but when the government gets involved in anything
Uh-huh.
with mandates, it can go wrong.
Yeah.
That's my fear about it.
I think when it felt like to a lot of people, not even going to the political parties, but when like Pelosi came in out on that Sunday, and they never go to Congress on Sunday, but they were going to that day. Carrying that giant gavel was like, it doesn't matter if you want it or not, they're going to make you get it. That and the infamous, you'll have to pass it before you can read it. Why can't we read it now?
Okay, now let me throw this at you. Okay, so I mean, Kenny, let's say tomorrow that you don't have any VA, you don't have any insurance or nothing, and you've got to go in for heart surgery, and it's going to cost. I'm just going to throw a number out there. I don't know what it really costs, but let's just say it's going to cost $75,000, and they perform the surgery on you, and you live. Now you get a bill in the mail that says you now owe us $75,000. How the hell are you going to pay that back?
Little at a time.
Yeah,
A little at a time. Now, let me just continue with that thought. Now, if you test one patient out of how many patients they see every single day that are basically living on credit with the hospital system, okay, that these hospitals are running in deficit constantly, continually, forever. It's amazing that they're still able to provide the service that they do.
Yeah, but also look at it this way: just because, I like the idea of being able to choose the doctor I go to. If you go to, if it switches to government only, you're not going to be able to choose who you go to. They're going to say, "This is who your doctor is. This is who you're going to. You don't like it? Well, I'm sorry. Maybe you can get a new one next year or the year after or whatever." It'll be really hard to get an independent second opinion. Let's say the doctors say, "Well, you don't have this." We all know doctors can be wrong. They make misdiagnosis all the time. You know how hard it would be to get a second diagnosis if everything was private, if all the Medicare was governmentized like that. You know how hard it would be to get a dissenting second opinion from a doctor. They're all thinking the same thing. They all want to keep the cost down.
Right. Therein lies, it sounds like one of the flaws in the Obamacare system that he was proposing. Right there. That's one of the huge flaws. We don't have that here. We can choose our own private doctor here, no problem, right?
Oh, what are some of the issues that you have found with the medical system in place? Because there's no way it's perfect, right? There's issues. What are the issues that you have found?
No, there are. It's not perfect. I mean, there's one of the big issues right now is a funding issue that we're having because we have an expanding population in certain areas that we've opened up. We're trying to open up new hospitals, et cetera. We're trying to get doctors in, but we have issues with that in itself because our restrictions on, like, if there's a doctor from India who's more than qualified, he can't be qualified here in Canada because of these stupid regulations and so on. So that's one issue that we have right now. We're lacking doctors and nurses to help.
So what you would say is what I thought about one of my fears was true, that doctors would stop wanting to be doctors is a reality in Canada.
Well, only because, all right, you've qualified, you've gone through medical school in India, but because the system is different there than it is here, even though they've got more than adequate qualifications to be a doctor of a particular field, right? Particular study, they can't work. They're not allowed to work. They end up working in a goddamn convenience store for 5 years, 10 years before they even get, notice and ability to move forward. So we have to change that kind of mentality. A doctor is a doctor. Bring him in, set him to work, set him up and start
Yeah,
working.
the trouble with that is you get these dishonest people who will have a sheepskin from some Caribbean or not exactly, let's say, certified college, that they're an MD.
Right?
And
You put them to the medical exam when they come in.
exactly, I was trying to bring that out.
They
We
fail.
have 50 different medical exams here in the United States.
Right. So if they come in, you want to work, pass this exam, you can work.
Stop. Let him finish, man. Let him finish.
Called boards.
Yeah.
You have to pass the board. Same as a lawyer.
Go ahead, Kenny.
All right. I was going to kind of go with, I'm hearing either government run or, the Medicare for all type thing. And I've kind of got a different spin. I've kind of got like my own taco plan here. And,
Emperor. Speak, Emperor.
all right. My idea is to make the healthcare industry, not insurance, but the healthcare industry, hospitals, doctors' offices, and pharmaceutical industries nonprofit.
Yeah.
That would
Never happened.
That'll bring the whole issue where you wouldn't have people wanting to be. I mean, you wouldn't have people wanting to be. There'd be less people wanting to be doctors if you went that way too. It'd be the same problem if they tried to make free healthcare for all. Everybody, if you're not talking, please mute your mic. I'm really tired of that goddamn clip.
I'll check mine again.
All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Just really annoying.
the difference with mine would be you would still get paid your fair share. It would just be you'd be getting rid of the shareholders. You would be getting rid of the stock. You'd be getting rid of that portion. And that's where that large chunk of that extra money comes into.
Oh, Sean, I think it's you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm sorry then. I don't know what's causing it, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop out. Let you guys talk about hearing click, 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 click. We'll try to fix it for the next time.
All right.
That's all right.
Okay. There. Yeah, it was him. Okay. Stuck. Yes, it wasn't you. My bad.
Okay, thank God it wasn't me. Jesus. You know.
So Steve Daniels says, I think that healthcare is a human right, not whether you have insurance or what kind of insurance and so forth. If you are sick and need healthcare, you get taken care of. Yeah, I do agree with that. I do think it is a right, which is why I think they should make it more affordable as to free. Because I think there's too many inherent problems when they make it free. Because like everyone keeps saying, nothing is ever free. The middle class person, let's say if they make it free, let's look at some of the problems when Obamacare was going on. You had people that were not only paying for because they didn't qualify for Obamacare, they were getting their own private insurance through their work government, but they're also paying for everyone else's health care who decides to not work or not do whatever they can to get health care. See, the middle class person is the one that's going to pay. It's not going to be the super rich. It's not going to be the poor. It's going to be the middle class. They're the ones that are going to front the bill for all of that crap. Why not just make it affordable for everyone? Lower the cost. Tell them, look, motherfucker, you can't charge $200 for this antidepressant when it costs you $50 to make or whatever.
Now,
you know what I mean?
Now, let me you say affordable for everyone. Now, what about those people who are living below the poverty line?
That's what you have That's what you have Medicare for. Medi-Cal. There's different different programs that the county offers that gives you free Medicare.
Free Medicare that is
There's
paid.
clinics.
And where does the money to pay for that from?
No, agree. I mean, it still goes to, but it will be less of a cost than Obamacare.
Where it comes from is taxing healthy people.
That's right. The middle income families that get taxed to help cover those costs for those people who cannot afford it whatsoever. Now,
Oh, absolutely.
I'd be screwed. If I had to go in the hospital tomorrow and I was in the States and I was living on the system, I'd be screwed. I'd say, screw it. I need a new heart. Let me die. I'm not going to pay that bill.
No, I agree, but if they keep the system the way it is, people who are poor, people can, if they want to get it, they can get health care. Here in California, there's a thing called, we have, if you can either get Medicaid, Medi-Cal. There's different things where you can get free health care. Of course, it's free for you, but it doesn't, but free universal health care is going to increase the taxes a lot.
Okay, how far does that free Medicare go? How much health care does that cover? Does that go all the way about no matter what they need? So if they were on their deathbed,
no. There's stuff that it won't. There's stuff that it won't cover.
And that's the problem. Our system, every detail. You need it. Doesn't matter what level of income you are. If you're living on the street, all the way up to the richest man in the frickin' country, you need it. It gets covered. End of the day, because the taxpayers as a whole cover the cost for everybody.
But not all the taxpayers want to cover all that cost. The rich aren't going to cover that cost. Do you think anybody that's making 100, 200, 300K in Canada is paying into this healthcare? No, they're not paying into that. It's the freaking middleman. It's you, me.
They're paying into it. They are paying into it. It's a question of their income tax is where they find the loopholes, not the Medicare tax, not the Medicaid tax, not the Social Security tax. Everybody has to pay those. That's a given.
That's right. So it's a given. There is a payment made out by everybody. And it doesn't matter if you pay $1 in income tax or $100,000 in income tax, you're still covering something. You're paying a portion of it. And nobody judges how much your portion is that you pay to make a decision on what you get covered for at the end of the day. And that's where I think Obamacare really failed, on its plan. One big issue anyway, right?
It failed on a bunch of different aspects.
Well, that's one big issue right there. It's an equal opportunity system. Like you pay $1 or you pay $1,000 a year. It doesn't matter what you pay into it. You still have, as a group, it's a group effort to get your health.
Everyone was paying into it, but the bulk of it came from the middle class, because everyone has their tax breaks, their all their crap, and the poor can't pay for it. So the middle class are always the ones. Well, they pay for any tax increase.
Because the middle class is the bulk of the population, as far as the incomes are concerned. So that's where most of the money is going to come from. What do you think, Taco?
I think it's all a big mess. I mean, no matter what you do, there's someone not going to be happy. And, part of it too is, if you go with Medicare for all, then, do all the insurances go bye-bye, and then you got all those jobs lost and all this and that. It becomes issues that way.
Mm-hmm.
Or, the wait times and all that good stuff.
Well, wait times is another issue here. We've had some crazy shit going on. Our system's not perfect either. I'm not saying that our system is exactly perfect. It's a 1960s system that's trying to run in the 21st century with all the changes that's gone on over the last 40 years, right? 50 years, so it needs a revamp. But, this kind of system does have a lot of potential, at the end of the day. Because I'd rather see people being able to go in and get the health care they need to go out and work and go back and contribute to society on some level, whatever they do, as a right.
Oh, yeah, there's that argument. There's many ways they could do it. I don't know, the way that it's always been explained to me, free universal health care just seems like, I don't know, it's still a work in progress. They need to figure out all the kinks and get the best. If they want to do it, they need to come up with the best program that they can, spend some real time on it, spend some years on it actually, and try and work out all the kinks and ensure that the government's not going to get all nitpicky and try and control your diet and all that shit. Maybe put some precautions in so they can't do that sort of thing. Then I could be okay with it.
I just don't trust the government with it. I mean, the government has a hard time running anything.
Yeah, I agree. That's my biggest issue. I do not trust the government to handle universal health care, just like I don't trust them for a whole lot of anything.
So you need a non-profit organization set up to run the healthcare system, basically.
Whoa. Did you just agree to the whole taco plan? Because I just recommended that like a while ago.
No, I didn't agree to it. I'm just saying that's what is being suggested here, right? Is a non-profit total organization is what is you think the solution may be down there, because you don't trust the government to run the system.
Do you trust your government? Stuck?
Pretty much. We have our issues with our financial issues, but I mean, we haven't had any, conspiracies where, things are all fucked up on any level.
What do you think of Trudeau? Are you a fan of Trudeau or not?
I am, but I'm not. I am in the fact that with this whole COVID mess, he's actually handled, stepped up like a leader should be. He's done the best that he could, given the circumstances, to help everybody. And we're slowly getting back on track. It's a painful process. It's going to be painful financially for the whole country, but I'm impressed with it. But I'm not impressed with the fact that he's too young. I don't think he's had the experience, unlike his father did, years ago. But, I didn't vote for him, but you get what you get. You have to take what you, how do you put it? You have to live with what you get. And we got him. He's done well. But, I mean, as far as controversies, I don't think we've seen that kind of stuff going on like we see down there with your government,
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Mr. Tahoe, do you have any 20th century discoveries you would like to discuss that maybe weren't discussed?
I don't know. I've been off and on because I've been busy, so I don't know what's been covered and what's not. So I'll probably
bring one up.
The foam mattress.
Yeah, that has not been discussed actually. All right.
Do you know who developed that?
NASA.
Yep.
A lot of the discoveries that have been discussed have actually been NASA.
Yeah,
I brought that up earlier. Was the Cold War and NASA was the result for a lot of the technological invention and discoveries for the
foam master. That's interesting.
And the German scientists from World War II too had a lot to do with it too.
Yep.
The ones that survived.
Yeah, the ones that survived, absolutely. They all didn't survive. That is true.
Foam master. What if? Yeah.
Imagine what language we would be talking now if Einstein had stayed over there.
Oh, geez, right? Absolutely. That's scary to think about.
It'd be like a Man on High Castle or whatever that show is called.
Oh, that's such a great series. The Man from that's a great series. You guys should check that out. It's if
I've only seen season 1.
Yeah, it's what happens if Germany and Japan had won the war. It's a great series. It's on Prime, right? Yeah. Prime.
I like how their planes are all based off of the V2 rocket.
Yeah.
Cool. That's good.
So no draws on had a question. He said, to the Canada guy, if you were sick or had a cold, can you just walk into a doctor's office or do you have to wait?
I can walk into a doctor's office for sure. I mean, I may have to sit and wait in line because there might be other people in front of me, but I don't have to actually,
you don't have to have an appointment?
Not necessarily, no. It just all depends. I mean,
depends on what?
Actually, no, I don't. For that, no, you don't really need an appointment. a lot of doctors now, what they do is they have days where they have walk-in only, but also we have called our clinics that are walk-in that you can go in if you don't want to go to your doctor over something as simple as a cold. So, and some doctors actually have by appointment only some days, and then a couple of days of the week are walk-ins, or other doctors are by appointment only. But if you need to go to see a doctor, there are clinics everywhere that you can go in to see a doctor at any time, 24/7.
So there's more. So are these clinics all due to the fact that you guys did have universal health care? They built more clinics specific. What is that?
Why is that? Because what?
No, what is it? Is that your dog? Do you have your dog next to you?
I'm sorry, that's me. My dog is like clawing at me and like
That's cute. All right.
trying to like get me to pet it like constantly.
Yeah.
Oh, Poochie, what kind of dog you have?
Bashan
Never heard of that.
Frise. It's like a kind of like a poodle type.
Oh, it's a little gnarly. Call it
Hold
gnarly.
on, I will turn on my camera for a second here. Hold on.
Any dog under 15 pounds is a nard, not a real dog. Let's all bark at the puppy when they
For
come
some
to
reason,
the
it's not wanting to work.
You got to find a bigger
There we
hammer.
go.
Yeah,
Oh, look at it.
See?
cute, but definitely a nard. Okay.
It did. You're right, Kimber. That's why I asked. It did sound obscene. Like someone's having a little too much fun up on panel. I was like, "What? Kimber's not even on, and we're getting all this weird stuff. Weird."
Too creepy. Oh, that's so cute.
See, and if I stop,
Yep. Yeah, because you know what?
Aw.
Because you're paying attention to something else and not them. So that's all. My two do the same thing. You know.
see,
Oh, yeah.
of course he's not going to do it now.
Adorable.
All right. So, does anyone else have any other things they would like to discuss about the 20th century discoveries? Anyone in the panel or anyone on the chat? Give you a few minutes to ask if you like before we end this.
What about the CAT scan machine?
That's a big one.
MRI is even more important.
Yeah, that's a really good one too.
CAT scan is X-ray. That was just a development of the X-ray. The X-ray
True.
itself was the greater important discovery. The MRI, magnetic resonance. I don't know what the I stands for.
Imaging.
That's imaging. Yeah, that is tremendously helped hundreds of thousands of people, myself included.
What? For single men
Myself
everywhere,
included.
a fleshlight.
God.
I mean, you could go into like 8 billion different medical technologies that we've had.
Yeah, but fiber optics.
Fiber optics is huge. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's they have yet to find the limit of what it can carry.
That's true.
Hair transplants too. That's what May's talking about.
May.
Now, heart transplant's more important. Any
Yeah,
transplant
absolutely.
other than hair, to tell you the truth, is much more important. The again, back to drugs, the anti-rejection drugs that you have to take for the rest of your life if you get a transplant,
We have
which
come,
I may be looking forward to someday.
Well, CD technology too.
That's laser.
yeah.
Well, yeah, there you go, laser.
Laser technology. Yeah, there we go.
100. Okay, can you imagine? Put yourself 100+ years ago. The stuff that we've come up with today. I mean, you couldn't imagine what life would be like 100 years in the future, can you? Well, I
Yeah,
can't-
they could. It's called science fiction.
Science fiction, but back
H.G.
in
Wells, Jules
People-
Verne.
the 18th century, yeah. But those were
Jules
just
Verne predicted the nuclear submarine.
But he was considered a crazy at the time.
Yeah, most guys were. That's why they had pen names.
Mhm. I mean, you were labeled a crazy, you're labeled nuts when you have these kind of ideas back then. Now, it's either people like you or dislike you. You're not considered crazy. You just come up with these great ideas sometimes.
Well, H.G. Wells, 1984. We're living it now.
Yep.
Well, usually some of the most creative minds are crazy mentally.
Yeah.
Depends on the individual. Everybody thought Tesla was nuts, but hey, he discovered the alternating current.
Yep.
And look where we are now, thanks to him. And he doesn't get the credit for it. Westinghouse does. Westinghouse just exploited Tesla's discovery. And I hate to tell you, Thomas Edison exploited a lot of his people's discoveries.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And Michelangelo says Michelangelo predicted the helicopter.
Eh,
That's one person in that time period that was able to do that. Now we got many, 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 many more people to be able to predict. And
And Michelangelo really liked pizza too.
look what they did to Aristotle and who's the other one?
Galileo.
Thank you, Galileo. Yeah, look what happened to those two.
labeled nuts.
Hello, Hemlock.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody know what a pushytron is?
What?
Nobody knows what a pushytron is? That's the flat earther's description of gravity. That's a new invention.
I don't know about that.
Nobody ever saw that? Okay, never mind. Go look it up. Yeah. Flat earthers called gravity pushytrons. That's the force.
Oh,
No, Greg.
yeah, hello.
No, Greg. Weed in 2020 is much better than weed in 1900. Just saying.
Yeah, but back in the early 1900s, all that stuff was legal.
Yeah, that's true.
It
But it wasn't nearly as potent.
It killed tens of thousands of people, but it was legal. Hell, they used to put cocaine in Coca-Cola.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, I know. They did.
True fact.
Hey, get that extra pick me up. Yeah, hello.
It was really addictive then,
Like caffeine's not now.
but imagine then.
Imagine what would happen in this country if two minor substances were made illegal: nicotine and caffeine.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, nicotine is on its way out
Yeah.
because they discovered that it's not just the nicotine that kills people. It addicts them, but it doesn't necessarily kill them because you can survive withdrawal of nicotine. It just takes a little bit of willpower. Not as much as the addiction to some of the drugs that are out there, but and the addiction to caffeine, again, you can wean yourself off of that. I'm not allowed to have any. I can have some and shorten my life, but thank you, no.
I'm not sure I could survive. I wouldn't want to live on this in this time period without my caffeine.
I survive.
Well, I'm saying you survive, but I don't think I want to. By knowing what it tastes like and how much I like it.
I used to live on Mountain Dew.
I never had a caffeine addiction, so I don't know what it would be like. I know like the symptoms are what? Like a headache. That's about as much as you get from a caffeine addiction, right?
I've quit 8 times.
If you're heavily into it with these energy drinks and whatnot, you go cold turkey, you'll know what withdrawal is all about.
It'll take about 24, 48 hours, and I tried that at one point. I actually tried to switch over to decaf. I did it the wrong way the first time. I switched. First day, I went from caffeine to a decaffeinated coffee, and within
went cold turkey.
I went cold turkey, and 24 hours later, almost to the hour, I ended up in bed for about 2 days. I couldn't move. I couldn't get up. I couldn't do anything. My whole body just crashed.
Yep.
So you have to be careful when you're doing this kind of thing. if anybody wants to switch over. Do it bit by bit. Put a little bit of decaf, in your coffee first at a time, and go over a period of a week. Then you'll feel better. Then you'll survive.
Some kids would say Slurpees are the most important 20th century invention. Slurpees are tasty, May. Slurpees are tasty. I have to give the kids that much.
It'd be interesting to find out if you asked a 10-year-old what the greatest invention of the 20th century would be.
Elmo. They'd probably say Elmo.
Video games.
Well,
Video games, yeah.
It'd be an interesting thing to find out.
Cell phone.
What they
Cell
know.
phone, because you can do everything on a cell phone.
Internet.
Oh no, a 10-year-old? How many 10-year-olds have cell phones?
Quite
A
a
lot.
few, my friend.
I would not give a 10-year-old a cell phone. Just wouldn't do it. No.
I
Well,
wouldn't
then-
either, but it happens.
Yeah,
Well, I know.
You are a conscientious parent, because believe me, first thing that my wife sees when kids get picked up from the Time Plus in the evening is the parents handing them their phone.
Jesus. But maybe a tablet so they could watch like some educational stuff on YouTube or something, or
You're
their own
funny.
phone. What the fuck are they gonna? What are they gonna do on no 10-year-old? What's a 10-year-old gonna do on a phone? Especially with
Well,
all these child
if you
predators
limit the
out there.
service, if you limit the service to data only, it's the same as giving them a tablet.
Yeah.
Now, if I got a hand back from my daughter, an iPhone 5, I don't have service on it. It only works on Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And you got
true.
Wi-Fi. You got Wi-Fi in a car now.
Oh God, you really do. Wi-Fi's everywhere.
Jeez, yeah.
Now everyone's all worried about 5G. Oh no, 5G is gonna end the world. God, come on.
Well, what about 1G, 2G, 3G, and 4G?
I remember 1G, 2, and I remember when 2G came out. I'm like, oh my God, this is so fucking fast.
Yeah, I know, eh?
The 3G, what am I gonna do? What are they gonna do next? And now try and go to a 2G cell phone nowadays. You're gonna be so impatient. Like, oh, what's it taking so long?
I hate to tell you, but 3G is getting shut off in October.
Is it?
Yeah.
What are they going to?
3G.
Well, 4G is still there, and 5G
Yeah.
is working its way across the country.
And 3G will still be supported. 2G will not be, and 1G will not.
Is it my phone?
3G is on its way out.
My
It's on
phone
the
is
way,
4G.
but it's going to be supported for a while yet. For the older, some people with the older phones and technology. But beyond that, yeah, 4G is going to be the lowest you can get now. After a point.
Since we're on cell phones, let me talk. All right, y'all already notice how you pay for an unlimited plan, unlimited data, right? But then they want to throttle you after like so many gigs. What the fuck? That's so fucking stupid.
No,
if-
that's called profit.
Oh
That's
no, yeah,
called
I get it.
greed.
I get it, but it's still stupid.
No, it's not. The executives and the marketing executives know exactly what they're doing.
Oh, no, I
They're
know
making
what
money
they're
for themselves, their platinum parachutes, and the shareholders. That's their only concern.
That's true. They don't care. We don't
Like
have
a politician's only concern is getting reelected.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I have seen that show with Chris. What was his name? Chris Hansen. The fascination I always thought with that show is they always stopped to talk to me. I always told myself, you know what? If I ever was on a show like that, there's no way in hell you could pay me to stop and talk to that guy. I would not stop. I'd be like, I just try to get the fuck out. But too many people stop and just like, yep, told him everything. I'm like, this fool's got like some sort of powers where he's getting these people to just talk. It's like,
Well, you know what it is, Kenny?
telepathy.
Most of these people are too stupid, but for what they did to begin with. But they also think that he's a police officer, so they're not going to go anywhere until they realize he's not. And he doesn't say right away who he is.
Yeah, but the camera comes right out, and I'm sorry, when the camera shows up, I'm already going to know this is something weird.
Something weird, yeah. But again, you're right. Yeah, true. But then again, you're watching the show. They got the side. You're not going to get too far anyway. I would not. Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
There was a show on, I think it was on TLC or something, and it was like basically it was ex-thieves that would go into someone's house and basically rob the place to kind of show what their
Vulnerabilities
weaknesses and security would be.
Yeah, I saw something. I thought I saw that. Yeah.
You
You know,
want to
so
know
it-
something even scarier? You ever see that show, Person of Interest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're there. Except for the AI, we're there.
Yeah. That is pretty scary.
It was a
Face
cool show seeing
recognition
how like
software. You're getting face recognition software now to turn on your computer.
Yep.
Or get into
Right.
your phone.
Oh yeah, they have facial recognition. The new iPhone 11. I know someone who got one, and yeah, he was trying to get the facial recognition down when he first got it. I'm like, I
Yeah,
would
now-
never do that for
yeah.
a phone.
Now a cop doesn't have to worry about getting into your phone. He just confiscates it, puts it up in front of your face. He's in.
That's true.
That's why I'll never have that.
What are the let me just ask you because I know what they are here. If you what are the laws against for the cops that if they want you to take a look at your cell phone when they pulled you over beside the road or something, they can't look in your phone right away at that point, can they?
They have to have a warrant. That's
They have to
the
have a
case
warrant,
law
right.
from SCOTUS.
Right. Okay. Because here, I think, and I could be wrong, is that if it's got a passcode on it, then they need the warrant to get the passcode or to break into the phone. If there is no
Same here.
passcode on it, they can open up the phone and browse through whatever the hell they want.
But not now. Is there a lock on it? It's a warrant. Now, now the question is, even if it's a swipe lock, or can they swipe it if it's a swipe lock?
Passcode or thumbprint or face print, I think. Swipe lock doesn't count.
Well, McKenna, what about here, Diver? Do you know?
As far as I know, anytime they have to get anything off the phone and you tell them they can't, they need a warrant.
Yeah, that's good. That keeps the privacy.
The judge can put you in contempt if you refuse to open the phone if they get the warrant.
Yeah.
Right.
And contempt, there's no bail.
All right. So, guys, what would you like to talk about next week? What subject should we cover next week? I really got nothing right now. I'm trying to think.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Okay, I'm gonna have to brush up on that all week. But
Yeah.
I've been wanting to say that for a long time.
But is there any intelligent life here on Earth?
we kind of covered that.
Fine, intelligent.
the fall of
Next week. That's next week's topic.
the
I
fall
don't
of the
know.
Third Reich and the start of the Cold War.
Sieg Heil. Do you guys actually know what that says
No,
in English?
What?
Hail
Hail
victory.
something.
It says
Hail
hail
victory.
victory.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people don't realize that. It's actual German for hail victory. It's got nothing taken by itself. It's got nothing to do with Nazis. Just like the swastika had nothing to do with Nazis until they made a symbol out of it.
Yeah, it was a
Until they
pagan.
used Sieg Heil as
It was Japanese. It's like a Japanese thing.
no, it's Hindu.
Hindu? Okay, I forget.
Thousands of years old.
Yeah, they perverted it. The Nazis did for sure.
Dumbasses.
Well, they thought they were the chosen ones, if you will.
I got an idea. Why don't we talk about? Maybe we can get Nash and Nathaniel to join us next week. We can talk about Parker Osmond and the disappearance.
Parker Osmond?
I think that would be a good topic, and Nash and Nate could regale us with all this stuff, and we could have a little discussion on it. And maybe we could do what the cops can't do and figure out where the fuck Parker is.
Well,
Well,
he knows where he is.
Okay, go back a step. Who the hell is Parker Osmond?
He's a
So-
security guard works for a vendor for the Scientology cult.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Nash and Nathaniel agree. So okay, so that's what we'll do next week. We'll discuss Parker, and we'll discuss the wife of the Scientologist and that whole conspiracy and the Scientologists and all their crap that they like
You
to
know
do.
something that I hate about that?
What?
The guy that started it was a good author.
Oh yeah,
Fortunately, he wrote in the genre that I have been reading since I learned to read. Science fiction.
yeah,
I've got a
yeah. Oh, what's
collection
his
that
name?
I think is complete of his that I haven't started yet because I ran afoul of Nate. And I happen to agree with him. And that other actress who has had some of his videos, actually used some of his videos in her show. She's anti Scientology.
Yeah, what's her face? She was on King of Queens.
Yeah, she was the female lead.
Yeah, I can't remember her name for the life of me right now. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm terrible about that. I can picture her face. I can't
Yeah.
remember her name.
I always thought she was really cute. I was like, oh, she's attractive. What was her name?
Starts with an L.
Yeah, it does.
Lana Turner, I know that.
Lena something, I think, or no?
Yeah, that might be right. Sounds.
Leah Remini.
That's it.
Yeah.
Lee Remy.
Yeah, Leah Remini. Yeah. There we go. Thank you, Miss Nessa. I know. Yeah, she actually put a missing persons report in for the wife of the Scientologist guy to the police, and nothing, of course, has ever happened from it.
No, nothing ever will. Because no one really cares.
We'll do Jonestown next, May. That sounds good. That will be a great one to cover as well.
Did you guys hear what I went through on Thursday night?
What?
Had my first debate on
How did that go?
chat shows. Well, up until the last half hour, it went great. And then he called in his minions and
Yeah, you got
Lost.
screwed.
lost by 0.347, I think it was.
Jeez.
You did. You were doing well.
So he couldn't do.
you know,
He couldn't do it on his own, huh?
As far as I did, as
So
far as
yeah,
I'm
he
concerned,
couldn't. Yeah.
I don't care whether I win or lose. If someone out there gets educated by what I discussed, I'm happy. If I can prevent another Minnesota Guardian, it makes my day.
NJ, you won.
Morally, yeah. I just downloaded the video. I got to go through it and take down some of his case law because I think what he was quoting was dicta. I don't think what he was quoting was decisions. And what I quoted were quotes taken from the original case that case quoted as a little bit more than, I don't know if you guys know what dicta or dictum is. It's a quote from a court case that really didn't deal with the final decision and has no precedent
Well, you
and
did.
cannot be used as precedent.
Well, you had my vote from the get-go for sure. It's just that went from good to bad to worse very quick at some point towards the end there. It was just.
Oh yeah, if you looked at who was in the panel,
I know. I was sitting there thinking, oh crap.
the individuals I wanted to help me were busy. One was working, the other unavailable.
Yeah, I mean, if I had enough knowledge, I would have helped you out, but I don't. So
Well, I had this all planned out and whatnot. I just didn't count on the questions coming out the way they did, and the fact that several of mine were ignored, and the cases that he quoted, I don't really don't have anything to do with the Postal Service and don't have anything to do with the base line of what this was all about, which I tried to get into, but they spun it the other way. This all has to do with the public forum doctrine.
mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, which they refuse to acknowledge. They refuse to acknowledge that at all.
Well, they have to acknowledge it because it exists. But the problem being not their acknowledgement of it, they're ignoring it. It's not their ignorance of it, it's the fact that they just ignore it.
Well, you
I
did
didn't really get into it, but postal property is a non-traditional form.
It is.
They've made it slightly towards the limited public form with their Poster 7 and their several different Code of Federal regulations. But if you read their training manual, if you read their policy documents, they don't want you filming unless you ask permission.
Right.
And I don't know if you heard me mention it, but there are people that is their hobby.
Yeah,
They go around the United States and the world photographing postal service architecture.
and that's fine. You still need to go get, out of respect, and it's also due to the policies. Just get permission. Say, can I take some pictures? Yes. Okay. Have a nice day.
And the thing is, if you read Poster 7, the retail area is not listed. Taking
Right.
pictures of employees on the list. It's against their policy. Read their policy paperwork. The internal memos that I have record.
Well, end of the day, you held your own, and you did really well considering the circumstances on that one.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's the sensationalism of it is what disappoints me.
Yeah, it was getting it gets just both sides were making great points for a while there. It was going smooth, but then again, he got, as you were saying, he got his gurus on board, and then it was all shit hit the fan. So
I was waiting for one of them to say, "Well, you don't make videos." I said, "That's funny. Just because I don't publish, I don't make them, doesn't mean that I'm not out there doing things. Yeah, I'm not a First Amendment auditor. No, I don't publish things on YouTube. You go to my YouTube channel, there's nothing there. I got it back in 2012 because I wanted to watch certain things on YouTube that you needed to have a channel to watch."
Exactly.
So Kenny,
Yeah.
Thursday after the Taco Hut, should we do the Trolls Inc?
Thursday. I'll get back to you.
Because that's when you usually do a show. Is that
I usually
right
do it on
after
Fridays. I do it on Fridays.
I know, but you usually do a show after on Thursdays at like around 5 p.m. Central.
Well, I know I've been doing usually lives, but I've been trying to cut back on the lives and do more stagnant videos.
Yeah.
You know what I think it is? I think Kenny is secretly dating a squirrel on the side and is taking up all of his extra time.
I was trying to avoid Friday.
Oh no, I know you because you got some. We can move it to next week. It's fine. I mean, it don't matter. I'd much rather do it on Fridays because just I have more time for Fridays.
Well, you know the acronym about Friday, don't you?
TGIF?
TGIF.
Oh,
Going first?
Poets Day. POETS. Piss on everything. Tomorrow's Saturday. Works
Well,
on
if we're gonna make
Saturday,
it Friday,
too.
let's
Piss
just
on
go.
everything.
Let's
Tomorrow's
try and make it
Sunday.
this Friday.
Nice one.
Okay, so here we go. National Nathaniel recently audited a post office. That was the last day it was open at the particular location. So that was interesting. So that could be. That's not just going to me. That's kind of acceptable because, like, okay, this is the last time it's going to be open. This is kind of news. It's newsworthy for sure. Gotta admit, it's definitely newsworthy. Now, how did the audit go?
Is that really an audit though? Because I mean, they can't really correct anything because they're going to be gone.
That's true. That's true. There was nothing in.
Oh, it doesn't mean those people aren't going to be shipped up to a different office.
Sure, they could be shipped.
Yeah. Exactly.
And Jay, tell them you're working on a story. All right, so Stuck, is there anything last minute you want to say before we head off here?
Oh, I had fun as usual, Kenny. This has been good. And Oh yeah, one more thing. All hail Taco.
Yes.
Okay, Diver.
Reality bites. All I got to do is outrun you.
Very true. Very true. And Taco, the soon-to-be disposed leader.
Deposed, not disposed.
This week on the Taco Hut, I have Monday on I have Glitterbug, and then Thursday I have Trippy, and that'll be 4 p.m. Eastern on Mondays and Thursdays. And if you haven't subscribed, please do.
All right, and as always, all right. So next time I said it was a pass. The supervisor came out and answered questions. Very professional. Very cool. That's awesome. We like to see stuff like that. All right. So social watchers, thank you for joining me. Kimber, thank you. Next to Nathaniel, thank you, sir. May, thank you for all your hard work keeping people in line. Power Wagon, thanks for I guess just being around. Being Power Wagon, I guess. Kimball's, thank you. Kat, thanks. No Draws On, thank you, sir. Julie Newton, thank you. Kiss, thank you. Vlad, thank you. Anyone else who's still in here, thanks for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. Free tacos for all. All right, guys, this has been a lot of fun. But all right, so I downloaded Discord for my new phone. I just got to figure out my password, and then I'll be right on there. And Taco, sorry, but your time's going to be about as short as who's that queen that was like for a day or two, like Queen Mary. Your time's about be as short as Queen Mary's was. Sorry.
The people love me, Kenny.
Do they?
Spoken.
What you want to know, the awesome thing about that is there's a thing called a delete button.
Oh.
Ooh,
Yeah, I don't have moderation powers.
No, you really don't. So yeah. So in other words, I'm gonna quote Eric Cartman: "Respect my order."
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Screw you guys. This channel is going home. All right, guys. Thanks for joining.
Peace
See you
out.
guys around and join the panel. Well, I'm sorry, Discord. We'll have some conversation. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right. Bye.